Kim.
And I'm Cassandra, and welcome to this week's Central Kids TV. This week we are still talking about grit. Kim, do you remember what grit is?
Yeah, grit is refusing to give up when life gets hard.
Kim, what are you doing?
Well, I was just thinking about how much I love the clouds or a cloudy day.
Yeah.
I love looking at them and reading a book.
I love looking at them and seeing if I can see a picture in them. Like maybe sometimes they look like a flower, or maybe they look like the sun or an animal. They're just really fun to watch.
Well, I was hoping to create some clouds here.
Okay.
But it looks more like a pile of whipped cream.
Because it is just a pile of whipping cream. But I know how you can make a real cloud. Check out this video, guys. You take a glass jar, pour in some boiling water. Kids, make sure a grown-up helps you with this. Then you want to move the jar around, place the lid on the jar upside down, and fill the upside down lid with ice.
Ice?
Yes, ice.
Oh.
Then you have to wait for 20 seconds.
20 long seconds?
Yep. But then the good part comes. Take off the lid and spray hairspray into the jar and immediately put the lid back on. And then a cloud forms in the jar. Pretty cool, huh?
Well, I guess that's as cool as my clouds. But my clouds, you can also...
Kim, you're not thinking of hitting me with that, are you? Kim, you already got me with the mashed potatoes, right? I mean, Kim, guys, Kim, hey guys, we'll be right back for the story before the story. Bye.
Story before the story.
Today, we're in the second book of the Old Testament, Exodus.
God made a plan to bless the whole world through one family, the Israelites. But for hundreds of years, the Israelites had been enslaved in Egypt.
They cried out to God for help, and God sent a man named Moses who faced down the king, Pharaoh. After a lot of crazy plagues, Pharaoh let the Israelites go.
But even though the Israelites were free, they're not yet safe.
Kim, have you ever had to move?
Oh, yeah. It was a ton of boxes, a lot of packing. We filled up an entire truck. We had a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so imagine that with thousands and thousands of families all moving at once. That's what was happening with the Israelites. Thousands and thousands of people, their kids, the grandparents, all of their animals, all leaving in Egypt at one time.
That would take forever.
Yep, they were sure slow moving, but that was okay because God was guiding them every step of the way away from Egypt in a very, very special way, appearing as a pillar of cloud during the daytime and a blazing pillar of flame at night.
A pillar?
Yeah, a pillar. It's like a great tall cloud that they could see and follow during the day, and then fire at night so they could even see when the sun was down. They followed the pillar of cloud or the pillar of fire, and it led them away from Egypt, further and further away until, well, they came,
Well, where did this pillar take them?
to the Red Sea. The sea stood between them and freedom.
Couldn't they just go around the sea?
No, it was way, way, way too big for that. And there was another big problem happening in Egypt. While the Israelites set up camp along the shore of the Red Sea, back in the palace in Egypt, Pharaoh was having serious second thoughts about letting the Israelites go.
I'm sure he was. I mean, the Israelites, they did all the hard work.
Yep.
They built the buildings,
Yep.
they built the roads. Everything was them doing the work. It
Yep.
was the Israelites' company.
Yep, and the Israelites were gone, so who was going to do all that hard work?
I bet the Pharaoh was upset. It wasn't going to be him.
Kim, he was so upset, he ordered 600 chariots to be prepared to go after the Israelites and bring them back to Egypt at once. Pharaoh led the army of chariots and horsemen racing across the desert after the Israelites. The galloping horses and the rattling chariots kicked up clouds of dust, and soon the Israelites could see them coming.
Could they outrun the Egyptian army?
No, they couldn't outrun them.
Wait, they had the Red Sea on this side, and then they had the Egyptian army on the other side?
Yeah, they were trapped, and they started complaining to Moses, saying things like, "Why did you bring us out here to die?" And "It would have been better to stay in Egypt than die out here."
Wow.
Yeah.
They thought being slaves in Egypt was better than where they were right then?
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah, they did. But that's also because they thought they were going to die. They couldn't see a way out of the situation. They just wanted to give up. But Moses kept his eyes fixed firmly on God. He knew God was in control and refused to give up. Moses said to the people, "Don't be afraid. Stand firm. You will see how the Lord will save you today. The Lord will fight for you. Just be still."
Wait, Moses told them to be still? Like, not to fight?
Nope.
Or at least swim? Like, or run or hide? Or
Nope.
do something?
Nope.
But to be still?
Exactly. That's what it says in the Bible. And then God spoke to Moses. He said this, "Hold out your walking stick. Reach out your hand over the Red Sea to divide the water."
Divide the water?
Yep.
You can't divide water. Didn't you know that? I mean, my goodness, I've never heard of such a thing.
That's what God said. And then God's presence in the pillar of cloud moved. It moved from the front of the Israelite caravan near the sea to the back and stood behind them all night to block the view of the Egyptians.
Wow, like the Egyptian army couldn't see them or get past the cloud?
Absolutely. Then Moses reached out his hand over the sea through the night. God sent a strong wind to push the waves back. Soon, the Israelites faced a dry path right through the middle of the Red Sea. Can you imagine what it must have been like? You're on the edge of a vast sea, but straight ahead, the water just spills in half. Oh, there must have been a ginormous wall of water on each side of the path.
I mean, they wanted to escape the Egyptians.
Yeah.
But what if you walk along the path? The waters could, what if they fell on you? I bet they could see all kinds of fish and sea creatures and stuff like swimming right through the water.
Yeah, it must have taken every ounce of courage and grit they had. The Israelites, they followed Moses along the path straight through the heart of the Red Sea. All night long, those families hurried toward freedom.
Wait, but what about the Egyptian army? What happened to them?
Oh, well, the army, when they saw what was happening, they followed the Israelites right into the Red Sea. The Israelites, every one of them, made it across the sea. But when they looked back behind them, they could see the Egyptians right there in the middle of the Red Sea. And God spoke to Moses again. He said, "Reach out your hand over the sea." As Moses reached out his hand, those walls of water began to crash down, and the sea rushed back in place, washing over the Egyptian horses and chariots. The entire Egyptian army was swept away. The Israelites were left safe and dry.
It's time for a celebration!
Yeah, and that's exactly what they did. They sang songs of celebration and praise to God for what he had done. The end.
Things must have felt so out of control for Moses and the Israelites.
Oh, for sure. And God was in control the entire time. God opened up a way for them to just keep going.
Okay, that's a great history lesson about Moses and the Israelites, but what does that have to do with like me or us, like today?
Well, there are going to be times when you feel stuck, right?
Yeah.
Okay, like maybe one particular subject at school is super hard for you and it never seems to get easier. Keep going because God knows what you're facing. God will walk with you the whole way through.
Or you're in a new school this year and you haven't been able to make friends.
Yeah.
Don't give up. God can help you find friends when you least expect it.
And best of all, God gave us Jesus to show what it looks like to keep going.
Exactly. Jesus didn't give up loving us, even though it cost him his life.
Yeah.
And when we follow Jesus, we have the power to keep going too.
Right. So, kids, Kim, can you all guess what the big idea is today? It's hold on because God is still in control. Knowing that can help you grow grit.
And God makes clouds.
Yeah.
He makes incredible, nice, beautiful clouds.
Very cute, Kim. What are you going to do with that cloud?
Nothing. I just want to make sure the kids get a good view of my nice cloud.
No, I mean, you wouldn't. No, we've already been through this, Kim.
No, I'm not. Cassandra!
Bye, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Oh, well, at least it tastes good, right?